Hello, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video we'll be looking at Skylords Reborn. And first things first, I will be playing Nightmare's End on expert difficulty, completing challenge 3.5. However, the sad thing is that my deck is a little bit harder than expected because I read one of the challenges wrongly for the Nightmare challenge 2. So essentially what I did was I wanted to complete 2 challenges at once, and I thought this 6.2 challenge was Nightmare End, so we will only be focusing on this challenge 3.5 where I will be playing Nightmare's End on solo. However, for my deck it's a lot more difficult because I did not play any spells and flying units accordingly to what I thought was this to be Nightmare's End. So your run for this map will be a lot easier than mine. I would recommend to have a tier 4 flying unit, maybe Lost Spirit Ships or Lost Dragons, and of course spells like Frenetic Assault is also very helpful. So yes, without further ado, this is my deck. As you can see, I only play buildings and units that are not flying units. So I'll just explain to you what is really the most needed for this map. Number 1, Night Guard will help you get your tier 3 quickly, and also a lot of towers like Lost Launcher, Time Vortex, and even Necro Blaster are very important towers that you must have, and it's essential for you to complete this game much more easily. Of course, my run for this is about 52 minutes, but with spells and with flying units, I think you can run this map 40 to 45 minutes quite comfortably, rather than 52 minutes for this game of mine. So in the beginning, I will just have Forsaken to defend the bottom wall because the enemy units from the bottom would attack my wall first. Followed by that, I will proceed to defend the top half of the wall, and once that is done, I will take down the Twilight enemy area over here and get rid of the Twilight horror. So in the beginning, very straightforward, I will just be taking down the Twilight units. And what I will do is to not kill off all of the Twilight minions. So what this does is that it prevents the spawning of the Rich Claws or the Twilight fighters, and we will only need to be worried about these little Twilight minions and one shaman later in the game. So I also did the same for this. So once I repel the Twilight forces, I will go ahead and take down all of these enemy Twilight buildings and Twilight units. I also have one Skeleton Warriors here. So what this Skeleton Warrior would be doing is that it will tank the damage taken from the Twilight Horror by activating this ability called the Unholy Armor. Then your Skeleton Warriors will be able to take a lot of damage. Alright, so I get rid of these Ghost Spears, and then we'll just take down of this Shaman. Reason why I move back a little bit is to make sure that I don't aggro the Twilight Horror while attacking the Twilight Shaman. Yep, so over here, what I would do is I will make sure that the Twilight Horror will paralyze Forsakens instead of my Skeleton Warriors. Yeah, Skeleton Warriors is supposed to be tanking the damage, so I want it to activate this ability and not die so quickly. Right, so over here, I'll recommend is to have you to activate Frenzy so that it deals a lot of damage, and that just have maybe one Forsaken who have not activated its Frenzy, and then to take the Power Well and the Monument. So as you can see, even though I had like about 7 Forsakens, but the Shaman healing the units and all of these like Twilight enemies are quite strong, taking down my Forsaken, and Forsakens in general don't really have a lot of health, so they die easily. So this is a little bit of a waste of power. I could have cleared it with fewer units. And by this time, the second wave will arrive, which is just the Shaman if you did not kill off the Twilight minions. Alright, so now you have tier 2, and what is good about tier 2 is that you will be able to have quite good tier 2 towers, Lost Launcher and Time Vortex. Alright, so I'll be splitting my Forsakens to repel the enemies off the wall and build some towers. So for the top here, I'll just build one Lost Launcher because we will be attacking this base first, therefore we don't really need strong defenses right at the north wall. And then why we need Night Guards is that Night Guard will be able to swap with the Twilight Devastator, and we will need about close to 8 Twilight Devastator for it to be a comfortable run to take down the enemy base here and get our tier 3. So this will be more of like a waiting game where you just wait for more enemies to spawn so that we are able to capture more of this Twilight Devastator. And this will carry on for at least about 7 minutes of the game. So I have Furnace of Flesh, but the thing is that if I swap Twilight Devastator, they are unable to get through this area. So you will just have the Furnace of Flesh after you have collected all of your Twilight Devastators needed to get your tier 3. Right, so later in the game you'll notice that there are 2 Twilight Devastators that will be attacking your base. Let me just show you. Right here. And yeah, you just have to summon more Night Guards to get more of these like Twilight Devastator up. So I have like about 7, okay, plus these 2 will be 9 Twilight Devastators. And this will be good enough to get your tier 3. Make sure to have maximum defense over here. You also need some Night Guards to defend because the enemy attacks would actually break through the wall. So you need to be able to swap at least one Twilight Devastator with the Night Guard so that your walls at the south side of your base will not be destroyed so easily. So actually over here I should have built my Time Vortex closer to this area, but the problem is the infected tower, and I would recommend you to build 2 Time Vortex closer to this area where it will attack enemy units that would be spawning to attack you, or when all these army are trying to attack you. After getting rid of all of these like Twilight bases, then I have my Twilight Devastators to retreat and have the Time Vortex do its job as the tower. Let me just fast forward and see what I will be doing. Also make sure to have Skeleton Warriors or Night Guard, because if you just have your swap units, you don't have ground presence to summon towers. And then once my towers are built, I would send all of my Twilight Devastators up. Get rid of the Twilight Bombard first because they deal a lot of damage. Followed by that, all of the infestation bases would be going down. So let me just show you. The good thing about these units is that they have siege, so they deal so much damage to units very quickly. All of the Twilight infestation bases will be down, and once they are down, just have them run back and retreat to heal, and to just have the towers help us to kill more of these Twilight units. So as you can see, enemies will break down your wall if you don't swap one Twilight Devastator, but if you got one other swapped Twilight Devastator at your base, that would not be an issue. So yes, once the spawning bases are down, you won't be faced with much Twilight unit, and it's very comfortable for you to get your tier 3 right now. Alright, so what I would do is to not destroy the power shrine. This is very important because once you destroy the power shrine, you would have to face off with big units spawning at this cave. What I'll do is I'll get up my power wells, my monument, and I'll build a defensive position over here. Recommend to have 2 Time Vortex and 2 Necro Blaster. Okay, so once I build my defensive position, I'll bring my army down to get rid of this area to get my tier 4. Yeah, so once you get a tier 3, the units attacking your first monument base will be a bit stronger, so you have to be prepared for that. So yes, this is the defenses that I have. As you can see, I got Cultist Master so that they spawn some Nightcrawlers for me to power up my Necroblasters and have all of my units run down. Also at the base over here, I will be building towers because your base here will be attacked by Twilight units spawning from the cave here. That will happen later on in the game when you get your tier 4. This enemy is coming. I got a lot of power, so I can summon a horde of Lost Horror. And what I will do here is build about 4 Necro Blasters, and this would prevent Twilight units from getting stronger spawning from the cave, because if you get rid of a lot of the Twilight units as fast as possible, we'll only be spawning this few like Twilight Minions, Twilight Archers, and at most a Twilight Devastator. And I got a lot of horror to get rid of all of this area. And the mistake was me to get rid of the power shrine a bit too early because my defenses here is not ready. I really need more Necro Blasters to deal more damage to the unit spawning. So later in this game, I will lose this defensive position and my monument will be destroyed. And yes, once I get my tier 4, I will be attacked by Twilight units, so that's why I recommend to have buildings here, and also get rid of my Furnace of Flesh because I just realized that it'll be taking away corpse for my Necro Blasters. Yeah, so at this point I thought that okay, this defense is quite solid, but as a matter of fact, it is not good enough, and yes, my defensive positions here will be destroyed. So later I'll show you how I'll be getting back my defenses. And this is a mistake. Yeah, and after they spawn, they will come down and attack your monument, which is why you really have to have a lot of towers to get rid of Twilight units spawning at this cave. Yeah, so this is me getting to retake the base. And I'll build 4 Necroblasters. That is a very good number to have. Alright, so now that a lot of my Lost Horrors are here, I am ready to build Necroblasters. And 1 Time Vortex, of course, as an insurance to deal some damage to units. And since I've already gotten rid of the Power Shrine, might as well just get the Magic Node activated. Alright, and my tier 4 is back up. And then now that my base here is secured, I'm ready to go over to the other side with my Lost Horrors. And what I'll do is to just have some defensive towers in position first to prepare for the final wave that be attacking the shards. So this is essentially the same thing, very easy. And if you got tier 4, you'll definitely be a lot easier than what I'll be doing here, because I didn't have any flying units and I have no spells. So your run would definitely be a lot more easy. And as you can see, my defenses here are also really solid. Make sure to keep repairing your towers. I'll be getting rid of a lot of these enemy units, buildings. And Lost Horror is really such a good card to have. They have multiple speed attacks, which makes them really strong. And once again, do not destroy the Power Shrine. Over here, what you could also do is to summon 4 Necroblasters here, and it will have the same effect, similarly to what is happening over here. And the thing about the cave being on top of this cliff is that the Twilight units would not ever move off from this area to attack your units or your Necroblasters here, or even come to the node, because they will only move off once all of the Twilight units at this cave, the whole army is spawned. But since your Necroblasters are constantly killing it, they will not be able to spawn in time to move off from this area, so they will be permanently stuck. Alright, next up is our last Power Shrine over here. And similar method, I'll just be using Lost Horrors to overwhelm the enemy. And also, if you have not noticed, I have Altar of Chaos, and the idea behind this is to use my Lost Warlord's ability to summon a copy of itself, a revenant of itself. And what it has is that it has ground presence, therefore I have a lot of space for me to, or a lot of options to place the Altar of Chaos attack to explode and deal damage to enemy units. So yes, as you can see, Lost Horrors are really solid units. They deal so much damage. Yeah, and this, it was my Altar of Chaos attack. Alright, make sure I don't take down the Power Shrine again. Okay, and get rid of the Twilight units spawning from this cave. So it is a similar logic. First, this is settled, this node is settled. Second is to get rid of this Power Shrine, and then my Necroblasters will do its job, and I will just need some Lost Horrors to get up here. Then third is this area. When I get rid of this Power Shrine, I already have prepared 2 Lost Horrors to get rid of this area. So essentially the end game is very simple. First Power Shrine to destroy is this. I would recommend to have at least like quite a few Lost Horrors because of this Twilight Wheel Zapper that can paralyze your units. And then second one to take down would be this area, because it takes longer for Twilight units to come and take back the node. And lastly, this is where most of your Lost Horrors or even your Lost Warlord is, the quickest for enemies to come and take the node, which is why we will take down this Power Shrine the last. What you want to do is try to take down this Power Shrine, these 2 simultaneously, get these 2 nodes together, and once that is done, get rid of this Power Shrine and get your last node. And while this is all happening, you have to also get up your defenses here, Time Vortex, Necroblasters, etc. up, so that you are able to defend the shard. If not, you will lose the game. So let me just fast forward and show you how it's done. First, Power Shrine down, try to get rid of this enemy base and get the node. Honestly, for this you got quite a bit of time, so once this is settled, you can get rid of this. It's Power Shrine and we are ready to go. What could also be done is that from my deck there's Rifle Cultist, so their Dark Grenade does a lot of damage and they can fire from quite far away, so that is a very good option to have. And yes, simultaneously get rid of the enemy base inside, which is guarding the magic node, and once all the nodes are captured, just have all of your units run straight to the middle, the Shard Forge. And I recommend each side, the east and the west side, to have Necro Fury on both sides. So Necro Fury deals quite a bit of damage to units, so they serve as a very good defensive unit. Alright, at the same time, just continuously build more buildings. And what I will also do is, as you can see, for my Altar of Chaos, when you use the Mass Destruction, the Nether Bomb has 4,500 HP, which helps to distract enemies or divert attention away from attacking your tower. So usually I would place these bombs far away right at the edge here, and they would deal damage. So essentially this is what I would be doing for a pure, or rather a Shadow and Lost Souls deck. I'm very sure that this will give you an idea of how you can run it much easier with lesser restrictions. You got spells and you got flying units. And once again, if you enjoyed my video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you again real soon for my next video.
The ritual is almost complete. Soon the nightmare will be over.
Yeah, I really love the explosion. Yes, and this is it for my video. Hope you guys enjoyed it once again.